anytime they want to move on, honey, to DC or Baltimore. So tempted to take on another job 'cause they pay so much more.
Yes, yes. Welcome back in, everybody, to Tony Talking Trash About Music. Tonight, I'm going to count down the band of troublemakers, the guys that, came out of the box and were instant controversy by design. I'm talking about John Lydon's wonderful solo career. And I guess he had a solo record besides this, but I'm talking about Public Image Limited. And, again, it's one of those things like, him with PIL, the way that Mark Smith is with The Fall, and they're both great post-punk artists. A lot of it's same too, when you think about it, a lot of people think Mark Smith's kind of, with his delivery is a little bit irritating. Certainly the melodic insistence of a lot of John Lydon stuff, especially some of the early stuff. It's an acquired taste. There's some people that do not like it and that they find it irritating. And, there's a great number of people, people I've played music with that feel that way. And, but anyway, I think we need to really look at how it started. It started out in 1978. You had that thing when they came to America and were on like the Tom Snyder show, their company, and they walked off and we're not having it, pal, and all that. And then you see the crazy version on Dick Clark's bandstand of Pop Tones when from the second record, and everybody goes wild and kind of dances. What a crazy! It's almost like they. It's in a time of ecstasy too. It's kind of strange thing. But anyway, yeah, they went through a lot of stuff. Everybody Keith Lavine knows, John Wobble, everybody knows. But even John talked about when they lost the Walker guy that was a drummer from the United States at the first record. And it's funny. It was like their what's considered to be their peak period. They were kind of using a bunch of different drummers, doing a bunch of different things that they could, and then from that point on, kind of John kind of took over and he tried it a little bit to maintain a little bit more as it went on. But let's talk about that. There's a lot of stuff in here about the history of the band that you should really check out yourself. There's a lot of wonderful documentaries and articles on the band and John's career. Whatever you think of him, he's, when he says the Trump stuff and all this stuff, he's trying to rile people up and stuff. Mark Smith was kind of the same way. He's just like, who was it that said that about Mark Smith? Says he's anti everything. That's a good way to put Lydon. And Lydon, with his taking care of his wife, Viv, and it was a very a tough time for him. And I think one of the big betrayals too of him was that, and I felt that too, because I'm not a big consumer of these Hollywood remakes of bands or something. After you had the Elton John one, you had the Queen one, you had the stuff. But the one that they did, the series about the Sex Pistols thing, was just an absolute. With actors playing the parts, man, oh man, oh man. I totally agree with John. I think it's a waste, and I don't know why those guys did it. I like all those other guys. I like Steve. I like those other guys a lot. I just don't quite understand the whole vibe between them. But there's no doubt that, in recent interviews that John really considers his, the pinnacle of achievement to be the consistency and the good work of Public Image. And I would agree to him to a point over the Pistols. I think they're a very important band. They've influenced music greatly. They've influenced the sound of what's acceptable and the atonal aspect of it, in bands like them and The Fall and Sonic Youth and bands that took the sound and tried to make something different. And so that's where we're at. And when we're talking about the discography of these guys, let's start off here with what I consider to be the craziest one of all. And it happened in the age of music that was read. It sticks out by itself. The 1992's That What Is Not. It's just a strange record. Some people liked it. Some people thought it was good. I think for the most part, people didn't. You had John McGowan, Susie playing on it, and Kirky B playing drums, and I don't know. We just had you had some horns from supposedly Tower of Power is what they said, but the song Acid Drops, it was okay. Think Tank was okay, but it's just not a. It's one of those ones that's maxed out in length too. One of those CD length things right about that period of time. I just don't think they're cut out for it. I don't think it really was a band. And all tracks were supposedly written by PIL, but the truth of it is that uh, he's just talking about the censorship and talking about uh, military people and just different things that are, to me, were just old and didn't really strike. It sounded like he was I don't know. It just didn't seem like going through the motions really, and the production of it too. It really sticks out by itself. That's what I'm going to do at number 11. I'm going to turn back to the modern era here with 2023, The End of the World, for my number 10. You put that up there, Joe. This is an interesting record. Of course, it features Lou Edmonds. Lou's been favorite ever since the whole comeback came back with This Is PIL. He's been on there. I had a bunch of singles from this they played. I heard a lot played on radio. I heard Hawaii. I heard Car Chase played. And a lot of people, I think you're better off probably if you didn't know that this was PIL. I think it'd have a better chance of making it, but it's kind of hard to. I don't know. It's really tied up with the death of his wife, and it's really kind of a sorrow, and it's kind of a grave thing when he's talking, and you know how he did Disco Dan, Disco Death, and songs before. But this is just like the whole record of being down, being stupid again. Dirty Murky Delight, Northwest Passage, Hawaii especially. I think Hawaii's not bad. I think I think in this John surprised you a little bit. He surprised me in any way. I thought it'd be over when his wife died. I really didn't think we'd see much else, but. It really has a lot of oomph in his voice. It's really better than the ones that he had before. But nevertheless, I do think the tracks aren't quite as strong. So that's why that's my number 10, End of the World. Number 9 is going to be What the World Needs Now, Is PIL. It was the one preceding this in 2015. This to me is with Lou and the gang. It's just kind of what you'd expect. I don't think that it's anything watershed. It's anything great. It's kind of a rock record. You know, he did the cover art too of it, and it just kind of, it's okay. It's a stick guy holding a stick. What the world needs now is PIL, but it's 55-minute record. Typical clunks of about 5-minute songs. I'm not satisfied. Shoo. Uh, that's about it. Betty Page is kind of funny. Say La Vie is irritating, but to me. But anyway, yeah, it's who it is. It's the same. It's the same guys. It's John and Lou, Scott Firth, Bruce Smith. Same band he had a little bit for a while at that time, I think, produced by Rambo Stevens. So, yeah, never really take off. Just another vehicle to play some live shows, and that's kind of where he went with that one. That was number 9. At number 8, I've got it here, and I think this is I'm sorry I don't have more of the vinyl stuff here. I don't know why not. I should, but I realized I had a lot of CDs with this, especially with that metal box and stuff. I did have the metal box. I sold it when I got good money for it. I sold it for about $160 when I was moving out of that. Back then, that was huge money. And now it's what, $300 or $400, and it's all rusted out. Anyway, this is what it is. This was originally called Commercial Zone, is what it is. I think Keith Lavine tried to release this or something. You've got the stuff here. You've got John Lydon here. You've got drums. You've got guitar, but it's a lot of this. The guitar is really kind of taken off, and it's just kind of strange the way things are wiped, much in the way Iggy Pop's record Soldier was. You got big holes and stuff, and I think the Keith Lavine had the other version of it, but the way Keith carried himself and stuff, you can't. But this is Martin Atkins. This is kind of a different band here on the Elektra label. Just this is what you want. This is what you get. I just found it to be abrasive. And I think it really falls down. A lot of the songs here on this, the Pardon, Where Are You, 1981. The Order of Death isn't bad. But a lot of these songs are just beat fests again, and he kind of fell into that kind of thing. With it wasn't really a lot about the flash of the music until a couple albums, or at least one album later, when he broadened the horizon of who the musicians was. This is kind of a transition record in a way between the old man with Keith Lavine, John Wobble, and what would become a more functioning thing for him for at least a couple records coming up, and that's from 1984. This is what you want. This is what you get. But for number 7, I'm going to go to the 2012 comeback record, the one that has the looks like a bull. It looks like a centipede on it. Another great one. Now that DVD, there is a PIL in heaven. That's really good to check out too. But it's great for him to come back after 19 years. He's coming back, mostly favorable reviews he got from people. Some people said, yeah, he's back for the cash in. Base didn't like it. But it's good to hear. After that period of time, it was good to hear him crank it back up, or at least do some kind of facsimile of it here. And he did some of the other songs too that he had. This is not a love song, etc. But Lou Edmonds again. Lou entered the picture here again, and Scott Forth and Bruce Smith, which is the same ones we said before, did get up to an independent record, number 4, and was number 28 on the Scottish. UK records only got up to 35. For some reason, no action in the States once that you got out of the first one, and maybe some of the commercial stuff that sold decently. We're going to go for number 6 now to 1989's record, Public Image 9. This to me was kind of a rework of Happy. It kind of sounded like In Pairing with that one. Very similar type of sound. I think it was a commercial sound, but it kind of sounded like it was treading water from that. Disappointed Warrior, Brave New World. It was half produced by Stephen Hogg, half produced by E.T. Thorgren, and it sounds different. Thorgren tracks sound heavier, and Disappointed, Happy, Worry. It did not sound. You're at this point. You've got McGowan on guitar. Bruce Smith has entered the picture, but Alan Diaz is the bass player, and this is kind of the end of the first era, and I guess what they kind of finished up here with. But McGowan, from the Susie stuff and the other stuff that he played on, but just not as good as strong as songs. But at least trying in the commercial vein, they tried to make songs that were not, transvested, which a lot of the early stuff is kind of like that. If you like that kind of stuff, which I do, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it plenty. But that is kind of what was going on in more of a commercial vein. So that's 1989's 9 for my number 6. My number 5, 1987. See, all these are CD things for me. 1987's Happy. And to me, with the song Seattle, which was the hit from it, really, really nice. I mean, it's pretty vivid. It's funny. The lyrics seem like pretty straightforward about what happened. But he just is not really happy with it. But hey, man, great. There's a hidden instrumental version of "Save Me," which is supposedly returns on Fat Chance Hotel. So it's kind of a reprise, which is the last song. But yeah, I like this record. Is strong. The Body's pretty good too. Body's a decent song. Angry's okay, but the first side's, I think first side's a little stronger than the second side, but yeah, do I like it? I think it's along the right path. It's not too long of a record, 35, 36 record, mid-minute record, comprised by Diaz, Edmonds, McGowan, Lydon, and Smith, so they went the whole way like that, and a producer by Gary Langan and Public Image Ltd. Number 5, that is the wonderful Happy. For number 4, now see, I'm getting into a couple that I have here. I might even left one here that I had. I got that good live record here. Number 4, I'm going to go with 1986 record, which everybody knows, it's kind of funny, was designed as a generic record. The album's called Album. The compact disc is called Compact Disc. The cassette is called Cassette. It's just neat. It's neat. He probably didn't want the public image thing on it, but it's very simple again. Songs on one side, PIL on the other side. This side, that side. FFF, Rise, Fishing, Round, Bags, Home, Ease. Bill Laswell production. No credits. Enter the fabulous Tony Williams on drums on Rise. Enter Ginger Baker playing drums on Stomping Through some of this. Enter some Bill Laswell and his whole crew and anybody he could get to play. And it just was no longer a John Lydon. And Public Image is no longer than anything but John Lydon's vehicle from this point on. And Rise is, I could be wrong, I could be right, I could be black, I could be white. I mean, it is intense song, man. It's a song that everybody, I know a lot of people used to listen to crank themselves up and could be wrong, I could be right. I just think it's a real breakthrough for him. A lot of people thought it was a sellout, for the Sex Pistols to do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with people playing with good musicians ever. And if that's a problem, then maybe they shouldn't be, in music because otherwise it's, music is not the most important thing. It shouldn't matter how good or how bad somebody is. If they can communicate, get across a feeling to you, it's not a competition, as many of you know. So we're going to go on from that, and that was called Album, I guess, at number 4 from 1986, for a better term. They just did a new reissue of this, so I put this up here for 1978. This is the first record out, and when this dropped like a damn atom bomb, man. This thing was extremely abrasive. The guitar was extremely in and out. Really was something else, and this American mix, so to speak, of it, really, to me, I enjoyed it. I don't know what the deal is. Who's John Lydon on the other side of that, but I don't know what the deal was. I guess we got some other pictures inside. Maybe that we'd have to have the other members here. Yeah, there's Keith. Keith got relegated to the inside here. Man, and I'll tell you now, I've said it to you guys before. I don't. Some of the stuff he does, and some of the stuff on this, and some of the stuff on the other, just sound like he doesn't give a shit what he's playing. It sounds like it could be something different anytime. He's just making rhythm with his fingers. Even Pop Tones was like that, when you hear about that one. We're not there yet. But anyway, this is where I am. The shock of this record, 1986, or 1986, 1978. When this came through, Theme, Annalisa, Attack, Swan Lake, my God, Low Life. This was it. And it's just, again, dub, reggae, monotony, pounding drums. And that's what they really liked. That's what John Wobble said. He said he thought the band was over the moon. Jim Walker left, the drummer. He said that was when I thought it was finished. And I guess he's thinking more of a live term or whatever. I know they played other shows and had other drummers in it, but that's it. Okay, we're talking about drums. Let's keep on the drum subject as I go to my number 2 here. And this may be a controversial pick for some of you too, but number 2, Flowers of Romance, baby. The drum album. This is pretty much drums and vocals. Jah Wobble getting in a spat or whatever, Jah Wobble leaving. Got it. Don't understand why Keith's not on it. Keith's parts when he's on it, sometimes it sounds like it's out to lunch. And this is what a band, man. What a band to go. What a cover. But anyway, when you look at this record and you look at the songs here, Four Enclosed Walls, track 8. Finnegan. You know what Finnegan is? Finnegan is a thing you take as a drug you take to keep you from throwing up. I had a guy that took Imitrex as a driver who had got bad headaches from an accident. He would get some car accident, hit his head. From that point on, it was bothering him, so he had to take it forever. He was taking it all the time. When he had bad breakthroughs, he'd pull off the side of the road and he'd shoot him. Give himself a shot. Don't drive for 20, 25 minutes. But he'd take Imitrex at the same time because if he didn't do Imitrex, he'd get sick. So that's what that is. Finnegan is something against, to keep it so you don't you don't lose your cookies here. Flowers of Romance, of course, Under the House. Jaime's Hymn, bang in the door. My God, talk about the drums banging the door. Go back. Francis Massacre. Yeah, this is an album of drums and vocals. Very little else on the whole record. I mean, it's hard to believe it. There's no bass on the record. There's very little guitar on the record that I hear. A lot of drums, a lot of vocals, a lot of creativity, and a strange record. And if you look at the production on this thing, it's all produced by Public Image Limited, which at this point functionally was probably only, uh, you probably had the drummer. It was a drummer and John, and they made a masterpiece, and there's nothing else like it. And you're saying to yourself, well, you're putting it down here, but it's like number two. I know. They're a band that it's a tough one to draw a beat on, and I just think that it's different. They deliberately put the thing on drums, on dub, and music concrete sounds all over the place with samples. It's just a completely different situation than the other thing. But it's just a completely do a record with a very little participation from bass and guitar. It's funny. It's kind of like the time I saw Todd Rundgren go out, the trio, and you go out to see him live, and you can't hear the guitar. I mean, it's the only instrument, and you can't hear it. You hear the bass and the drums pretty good, but you can't hear the guitar loud enough. They're just, I don't know. I'm a troublemaker. I don't know anything. But I'm on the outside, man. I don't want to cause any trouble. I don't want to be a lurker, and I'll just back away, man. It's not. I don't want to cause any trouble from anybody. But anyway, that leaves number one, man. And you know what it is? It's that big round metal box that perplexed everybody that I used to have. It's worth so much money now. I don't know how though. I never looked at anything. I don't know how people maintain those boxes. But anyway, it came out, and here you can put the other cover up here too, Joe. It came out alternately as second edition. What a record! Everybody knows that's it. Everybody knows that's the one. Now there was a, live in Paris thing that came after the metal box. But the metal box, I mean, let's face it, one after the next. Death Disco, Swan Lake. Jesus God, man. I mean, it's something haunting as that. I mean, and he's just been through some more tragedy with that. It just shows you the depth of what some people can handle, the stuff with Sid and the whole thing with that. And he's been through a lot with his wife and stuff. He's been through a heck of a lot. But this is even before that. I mean, just to have that kind of perspective and to have that kind of a feeling. There's just, I don't know any other song like Swan Lake that makes you feel like that. It's just when you stay with it, it's almost like you want to break away, but at the same time, you feel this connection, and and of course, Memories is brilliant, but the big one, Albatross, Albatross was huge. The whole side, of the first record, 10 minute long thing. Memories too was great. And then the you get to finally get this far. To me, it doesn't even sound like it's. I mean, it sounds like he's playing something, but it sounds like it changes what he's playing, which is interesting. It sounds just like the way like the tape cuts off, so analog tape just like rushes in and cuts off. Dry. I love it, man. Anyway, careering, following that off. There's something about it, It's a headache. Yeah, it is. You got to be, you can't listen to this if you're like coming off a crush or after you've been drinking in the morning. You're not going to put this on. You're not going to put on this, Radio 4 chant and Radio 4 that's not conducive to that. But that Bad Baby. The Suit, probably not one of my favorite. Graveyard's good. No Birds, is okay. I'm kind of tired of it. I used to like it a lot when it first came out. It's one of my favorite ones. But no, I think it's great. I think the record is great. I think the concept was great. I think he's a smart ass. I think anytime anybody is free enough to be able to do something like this that they want to do, and but at the convention, you can't tell me the people that listen to the love the Sex Pistols listen to this first record here and then said, boy, that is some potential. That they were crapping themselves. They're like, oh my God, this is horrific. They're out of tune. Keith Levine's nodding out. They're it just sounds like they don't care. Some of the stuff just sounds like they don't care. And it was amazing what happened on Bandstand. So I don't know if maybe we can put a link to that below. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for everything. There's my list. There are my 11 PIL records. I know I didn't have a ton of them on vinyl. I got a lot of them on CD. My CDs are downstairs in boxes. I'm not going to bring up a bunch of CDs. Occasionally, I'll bring one up if it's convenient. But for the most part, a lot of these are being sold. A lot of these are different things. So in a way, this gives me a thing to get caught back up on vinyl. I'm not looking forward though to sparing that. I would definitely want to have one of those metal boxes. But the problem was, if I remember correctly, the records weren't that great. You know weren't that great pressed anyway to start with. They were kind of a little bit more like 12-inch records because they were 45 for what I remember. It was a 45 record. That's why they played it over 3 records, in there. So, but it ended up being about the same. You're looking about the same time, but there's a different change in the American view. The American record that went up, second edition, flip flopped a couple of songs. They flip flashed No Birds and Socialist, and the Radio Chant is swapping places really. So it's funny how they had one then the other, and then they swap places. But anyway, that's about it. I mean, everything else is the same. It's not, of course, not on 3 records, but you're looking at a 15-minute side there, 16, 15, 12, and 21. So yeah, you're looking 15, 16. So it's normal. But anyway, yeah, man, John Lydon with piano on No Birds and Baby. And Keith Lavine wanting to play around the synthesizer, actually played drums. You're kidding me, he played drums on Pop Tones? That's Keith Lavine on drums? No wonder they're so weird. Well, like I say, Walker was gone, so what are you going to do? I mean, anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks. We'll get back at you with songs. It's just interesting how to do. I'm still wondering how to do this with the different incarnations of the band. You had the original hardcore version of the band, which tunes aren't really what people think about. It's kind of a different type of headache, as I said. And then you got the melodic stuff, which you don't want to make the whole thing about that. And then you've got the later run, which I'm not as crazy about. I like them okay. You can tell by my run. But anyway, guys, we will be back at you next time. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Come on, man. Help us out now. I need to do that earlier in the show, but I did anyway. And I'm really interested in seeing your list, too. Please let us know what you think about PIL. Some people hate it. If it's the voice, I know that, but let me know a little bit about it. I mean, I don't like the real high voice. That's why the Black Sabbath records, the last ones I ever got were of course I don't like the Tony Martin ones, those ones later. The last ones I got were the Dio. I just don't like that high voice. Something about it. Now the first Dio record, that's kind of rock and roll, right? It's a little different. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Thanks, guys. We will catch you next time. Please leave your comments. Please help subscribe. Please smash the like button. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Take care.